Hi, stranger friends. It's Amanda here. Before we jump into this week's show, I wanted to give you all a little backstory on why we're choosing to release this episode this week. Some of you may know that in 2019, I started my own podcast called Your Mom Has a Podcast, wherein I interviewed a new mom each week and let her tell a story that was important to her about motherhood. When I got pregnant with Quinn, I was the only person I knew my age that was choosing to start a family at that time. Chris and I got married incredibly young by today's standards, and so starting a family wasn't something that the majority of my friends were doing. So while motherhood, even when you're surrounded by a great support system of friends and family, can oftentimes feel very lonely, for me, it felt even more so because I was the only one doing it. I didn't have anybody to talk to that really understood a lot of the things that I was going through. Enter Melissa Beck. So I started reading Melissa's blog, Princess Melissa, when I was a freshman in college, and I had seen her on the show. I really liked watching her. I thought she was hilarious, and it just so turns out that we hit some of the same life stages at the same time. We got married a year apart. We had our first child a year apart, and so for me, it was nice having an internet friend in my head, like a lot of you felt reading Melissa's blog, and had somebody that was very transparent about her experiences in pregnancy and in new motherhood. And so I really just appreciated having that, I don't know, big sister, internet friend, type person in my universe that I could look to when things felt particularly difficult or like I was always screwing up. There was somebody there that was like, no, actually, it's okay. We all feel this way. So as I was booking interviews for the show, I decided to, on a whim, reach out to Melissa, knowing full well that she was probably going to say no to me because I did not think that this would be something she would want to do. But much to my surprise, I sent her a DM and I was like, listen, I am a literal nobody, but I started this podcast on motherhood, and she agreed to do the interview, and I was ecstatic. So we ended up recording her show, or her episode, 3 times due to technical difficulties, which if you've been following here for any amount of time, you will know that this is not surprising for us to have technical difficulties. And after we recorded that final episode, we were talking and she was like, oh, you should have me back to talk about this. We could talk about this, which got me thinking. I didn't know if I could sustain this podcast on my small social circle and connecting with, friends and friends of friends. So I thought maybe I could do mini episodes with Melissa talking about parenting and motherhood and intersperse those with the longer episodes. What ended up happening is that we realized that we had more to talk about than what would fit in those mini episodes, and we had a whole other show that we could produce. So for 6 whole months, we recorded episodes thinking that we were going to release a show called Best Mom Ever, read in your very best sarcasm voice. And in May of 2020, in the height of the pandemic, we realized that this is actually a show about 2 women getting to know each other over the phone, hence Imperfect Strangers. So, without further ado, I present you Melissa's episode on my first show, Your Mom Has a Podcast, talking about motherhood and answering questions real time from my podcast followers about her time on the real world and how it has affected her journey into motherhood. Quick note, please excuse the terrible audio. I was a baby podcaster. I didn't know any better. It's kind of raw, but I've learned and there's growth there. So anyways, without further ado, here is the beginning. Today's episode is a true story of a 20-something woman who was picked to live in a house with 6 strangers and have her life taped. Listen in to find out what happened when she stopped being polite and started getting real. You guys know I had to open with that, right? I had to. I'm thankful that my adolescence and young adulthood happened before social media, that the dumb things I did were not preserved for all of eternity on someone's phone or story or timeline, much less broadcast to millions on cable TV. For Melissa, Y2K was the year she broadcast 6 months of her life in the 9th season of The Real World New Orleans. And what seemed like a good time and an easy way out of her hometown of Valrico, Florida, ended up taking her beyond what she had imagined. Her reality TV debut turned into a brief stint in Hollywood, chasing commercial roles, auditions, and a full-time job on Chelsea Handler's show Girls Behaving Badly, until one day she decided that she'd had enough and moved to Long Island, New York to live with her then boyfriend, Justin. In 2007, Melissa and Justin married, and in early 2009, she gave birth to their first child, a daughter. And it was then when she realized that being a mom, this was the gig she'd been meant to land. This is Your Mom Has a Podcast. I'm Amanda Strong. You're going to introduce yourself?
No, you're going to introduce me, and I'm going to say hi.
That's fine. Whose podcast is this? Let's be real here. Okay. Serious. Be serious. All right. All right. So today's guest is one that I'm very excited to share. She is a mother of 3. She hails from Long Island, and I'm going to let her, Melissa, why don't you go ahead and you tell me how you would describe yourself?
Oh, gosh. Well, hi, everybody. Thank you for having me, Amanda. My name is Melissa Beck. I am a stay-at-home mother of 3 from Long Island, New York. I'm actually from Florida, but we don't tell people that. I live on Long Island with my husband, Justin, and my 3 little girls. I have my oldest one, Shalom, who's 10. I have my middle one, who's 6, and my baby, who's 4. And I would describe myself as an amazing shut-in. No, so probably if you're listening to this, you probably know that I literally 2 decades ago was on a show on MTV called Real Worlds, and then from there I did some other weird stuff on TV like Girls Behaving Badly and some weird MTV other like spin-off shit. And then one day I just was like, meh, kind of done with that. And I moved from West Hollywood to Merrick, New York, where Lindsay Lohan is from, and also Long Island Lolita, Joey Buttafuoco, that whole thing. That was actually the draw. That's how he got me to come. It's like, babe, I can show you the house where the Mary Jo Buttafuoco got shot in her face. I was like, dude, I'm there. So I moved to Long Island after that reality show extravaganza on my life. And ever since then, I've never looked back. I've been here doing my stay-at-home mom thing for 10 years. So hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. Can I ask some dumbass questions now?
So for those who have been following along and listening to this point,
all of my interviews have been local, and they've been people that I know well, or I've known for a while. I've, met you in person, like we've probably hung out, we've done something together. So if this seems random, just a little bit of a backstory. You started Princess Melissa before you left the show, because I feel like that's how we found out about it, was you had started making your paintings, and like your e-commerce store was tied to your blog for a while there, right?
Yeah, well, the blog actually started when the show was done, but the show was still airing.
Okay.
So I launched the blog while the show was still airing, but I had already finished the filming.
Okay.
And this was before it was called blogging. I just was like, oh, I need a website. So from the website is when I started selling the paintings, because it was like an amazing, at that time, just a long running commercial for me. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And this was before, online stores really even. So at the time I needed an outlet to sell the little paintings. And Justin Beck, my husband, who was then not my husband, was just starting an online store kind of business for bands, for his own band, specifically Glassjaw. And I was like his third client. So it was me, Glassjaw, and Brand New as the merch direct clients. And then from there it sort of took off. But the writing aspect of Princess Melissa was I would just go on there and talk about my random feelings, or I would talk about what happened on the show and what you needed to know about that show. And it was sort of like my way to have a kind of final say, because, the show was edited, and not that I hated how I was edited. I was edited how I was edited because that's who I am and that's what they could work with. However, they never tell the whole thing. And so it was nice for me to be able to have, final say on what really happened and behind the scenes shit. And then I noticed people liked it. And then people, when the show was off the air, people were still reading the blog. So I was like, I guess I'll just keep doing this. And so I kept the blog for like a good 8 years running. Yeah. So, and I had a lot of I had an email attached to it. So there was a way for me to talk to people, and it was really cool back when that was not a thing. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and say I was a pioneer of blogging, but a motherfucker had a blog earlier.
Well, so that's how I watched the show. I loved you on the show. I thought you were funny, and I thought you were smart, and you just weren't an asshole like a lot of people were portrayed sometimes. I feel like they can really highlight the ugly, and that's
they did highlight the ugly on me. Did you see my teeth? As before, I spent about $15,000 on dental. I'd just like to put that out there if you want to start. Matter of fact, slow-mo, they rewind it back and have me say this shit again. I did get my teeth fixed, so don't mess around with me. Go ahead. Like, honestly, like when Cardi B came out and was like, I got a bag and fixed my teeth, like that shit resonated so deeply with me. Like, I am the biggest Cardi B fan because of that single line, and her teeth are amazing. So yes, they do highlight the ugly, but on me, it happened to be that I got lucky. Yeah. I mean, I was crazy as shit. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't, a regular person. Hence, I got on the show. But I got lucky with that edit.
Yeah. So it was relatable, and I liked how you were portrayed on the show. And then I found the blog and read the blog, and even though we weren't in the same stages of life at that point, it was still relatable because we're in the same age range. And so, you were in your early 20s and you were living your life and you were pursuing what you were doing out in California, and I had just graduated college shortly thereafter. And so in terms of like where your relationships were going, and then meeting Justin and then getting pregnant, I didn't have any friends who were in the same life phase as me. I got married really young. I was 24 when Chris and I got married. And so to have somebody that was in the same phase and who was also willing to be very transparent about what life was like, and we have a lot of similarities, a lot of parallels, but then a lot of differences. And so it was just nice to read somebody's journal, diary. It made me feel a little less alone when I was going through some of the same things, because I just didn't have anybody that could empathize or speak to my experience. And so I've always followed along, and I've just really appreciated what you put out. So the reason why.
Thank you. Yeah. This is like such a warm and fuzzy start. Thank you so much. She said, thank you. Thank you for reading. Shit.
How did what possessed you to even audition or submit your tape for the Real World?
Oh my God, submit my tape. Remember that?
Yes.
Like actual
A
Vita
VHS.
I had just finished college, actually. I graduated. So, like, after I graduated college, I went to school for journalism. So, like, writing was already my thing, and I was wanting and hoping to do it professionally. But my first job that I got offered out of college was to write obituaries for one of the major papers in Tampa. It was either St. Pete Times or the Tampa Tribune. There's only two of them. Shit. So, and writing obituaries, it was like an hourly job. And my job that I had at a pharmaceutical at the time paid more than that. So I was like, why am I going to go do my career if I can not do my career and get paid more? And at the time I was working at a law firm, and I was like in the records department, and I would sort records. I was in a law firm doing nursing home litigation, which is very exciting. So, I'd be looking at pictures of like decubitus sores and looking at logs about when this old person took a shit and when they didn't. And my job was to sort that stuff and to find discrepancies. So I would take the work home so that I could sort those records. I'm talking about boxes and boxes, bankers' boxes of records that I would sort through, whatever, and try to organize so that the lawyers could go through it in like a neat and orderly fashion. And they used to, at the time on MTV, marathon the shit out of Real World. Before MTV was like, this was like they still kind of played music, and Real World was kind of one of the only shows. So there wasn't like a billion other shows. It was Real World, there was Road Rules, there might have been like, there was a Carson Daly thing, you can watch the top 5 videos or whatever. There wasn't
Pimp
like
My Ride.
I don't even know if Pimp My Ride was out. Maybe it was.
I think it was.
Maybe, yeah. But they were not, it wasn't like,
yeah, not like it is now.
Music. So, I remember a marathon of Real World Hawaii was on while I was doing this thing, and there was just like a bunch of people having fun, and when you have it on in the background, you just start sort of just floating around in the back of your head. So while I'm doing this very monotonous and boring thing, I'm looking at the show and I'm seeing Ruthie. Everybody's drinking. They're jumping in the pool. There's nutsacks in the pool. This is a good old time. I was like, dang, they look like they're having fun. And I'm 22. Yeah. I'm like, dang, they're having a lot of fun and I'm not. And then I started looking at the show and I was like, whoa, hold on here. I was like, there's one brown girl, one black guy, and a bunch of white people. I was like, dude, my odds are different. Hold on. And I was like, if all you got to do is be a brown girl and drink, bitch, I think I could do this. So from there, at the time, I went into the mailroom because I didn't have a camcorder or any of that. I went into the mailroom and I was just like, does anybody here have a camcorder I could borrow right quick? And I went home. I recorded myself on the couch. Literally, it was just like, hi, my name is Melissa Howard. I'm half black and half Filipino. My dad is this. My mom is that. This is where I grew up. This is where I'm from. This is what I'm doing. I don't like this. And I just went through a whole bunch of shit that I don't be liking and a bunch of stuff that I do. And then I went back to work the next day. I shipped the tape off to MTV because I think it was like, this is your final chance to submit your tape. I sent that shit like next day on the company dime. Sorry, y'all. And I got a call back in like 2 days. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, what happened? I was like, oh, maybe there were just no late submissions, so they had to get to mine. And then from then on, it started a 4-month interview. This was back then when they really vetted your ass. It was a 4-month interview process. I'm talking about hours on the phone, and then sometimes you had to drive. One time I had to drive to Miami, some hotel in Miami, and do hours and hours more of interviews. After like 4 or 5 months of that, they were like, you're in the finals. And back then, you were in the finals to be either one of the 7 on Real World or one of the 6 on Road Rules. And I told them straight up, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm not doing no Road Rules because I don't be going outside, I'll be climbing shit, and we're not doing that. And they were like, all the reason more why you should be on there. And I was like, oh, no. And so then there was like a weird situation between both producers of the show where they were going to put me on Road Rules. And I was like, okay, but I'm not going. And I guess the Real World people went out, and then next thing I know, I started shooting this show in New Orleans, and it was then that I realized I destroyed my life. No, I'm kidding. No, and then I moved in, and it was, you know what? I think it's hard to talk about the experience without people being like, wow, all she does is complain about it, which I like to top load the shit with. It was fucking awesome, and it was a great experience, and I would not change it for the world. I mean, I changed some shit, but I would not change it for the world because it's sort of kind of like, well, it got me out of Valrico, Florida, which was the main thing I wanted to do. I don't know if you know about Valrico. Shout out to Valrico. I do love Valrico. Stephanie, Brandon, how y'all doing? Hope y'all not in a sinkhole. You know, not to down my hometown, but you know, there wasn't shit for me to do there, and I had bigger ideas. Not that I knew that reality TV fame was going to be it, because that wasn't really a thing. Because I think My Real World was out before the Survivor came out. So when Survivor came out, the first one, that was when there was like this reality TV genre shift. Like it was like, oh, this is a genre. This is a money-making scheme. This is crazy. Anybody can be famous. Let's all do this. And that's when the saturation came through. So like I was right at the precipice. For MTV, it wasn't yet like this monetized machine, even though I should be way richer having given my story rights. I am not hating on Snooki and her billions, I'm just saying. It was really good, but at the same time, really crazy, because you can be famous and broke, and that was a real thing for me. Mm-hmm. And so I was famous and broke, and also not in a mental space to understand really what I had just done. So figuring that all out on my own as I was also pursuing the next level of fame. Yeah. That was the part that changed my life. The show itself, cool, awesome. The experience was cool. Living with 6 people I would have never fucking talked to any other day. That was cool. New Orleans, awesome. I think of New Orleans sort of like a cousin to me. All that shit is great. And all the people I got to meet after the fact, great. But the show itself, like the aftermath, wow, that was a time.
What did your parents say? Like when you, because I can't imagine that Shorty and Mercy were like, yeah, sure, go be, like, what the hell is this? Like, I mean,
yeah, they did.
They did?
First of all, no one understood it or believed it. I was just like, oh, I got on this show on MTV, and they're like, okay. I was like, no, for real, I'm leaving here. I have to quit my job. I am going. They're like, okay, yeah, she's going to go be famous. And my dad was like, okay, here you go. She thinks she's famous now, y'all. And I was like, okay, that's what you say. And then I left, and they're like, oh, shit. And like at the time, back in the olden days, everybody's parents would come and visit, and it would be like a vignette on the show. Yeah. Back then. And Shorty and Mercy, actually, I specifically recall the producers pulling me aside and being like, because they had shifts, so there was morning, afternoon, and evening, and they would switch their shifts up every week. So sometimes at night you'd have different sound guy, different producer guy, different dailies person or whatever that followed you around. And I remember them pulling me aside during my interview and being like, no, you don't understand. We were fighting over who gets to do the Shorty and Mercy arrival, who gets to do the Shorty and Mercy in the evening, because my parents, which MTV fucked up, that was a lot. Big time missed opportunity. There should have been a spinoff, the Shorty and Mercy show. I'm telling you, they fucked that up. So they didn't get it until they got it. So when my parents flew to New Orleans to film the show and saw that it was a real production and it was going to be on MTV, and then they too were on MTV, and they're heavily featured on the behind the scenes tape. Yeah. Whatever, when they used to do those. They were really excited. And my parents are very easy to impress. You literally, all you have to do is finish school, a GED, they'll set that too. Have a job, don't matter what it is, do something, sling a hammer, dig a ditch. I don't give a fuck what you do, but don't do it around here. Get your own money. So when I did MTV, it was just like I was a fucking star. I mean, my mom would walk around with the TV guide with me on it, with my autograph. I'm like, Mom, why do you have my autograph? I'm your child. She made me sign it to her. I was like, okay, Mom.
That's cute.
So my mom would walk around with like my clippings and show people, you know, that MTV Real World, that's my daughter. Like she was like really excited about it. Even anything that I did, it was even remotely embarrassing, she didn't give a shit. She's like, okay, but it's TV. She's on there. Like, so I could have done anything I wanted. My mom was cool with it. They're still very cool with it. Like they still tell people, do you know my daughter from Real World? Like, oh, really? Yeah. Oh, you say that. Oh. I mean, like, but in my face. I'll be standing right there. Like, okay. Sucks. But then my dad, you know, daddies, they can't just be openly proud. Might be like, yeah, she thinks she's famous because she was on it. You ever seen that show, The Real World? Like, so you're making fun of me, but you're also bringing it up. Okay. So, yeah, they were cool with it. I think all of Tampa was kind of cool with it. Like, that crazy bitch, she's from here? Okay.
Well, I guess this might be the best time to ask the question. So we opened up questions on Instagram because you don't like to talk about the Real World.
It's not that I don't like to talk about it. It's just that I'm going to be Melissa from the Real World forever. I just think there's a bunch of other shit about me that's also maybe notable. But I get...
Right. More interesting, like, it's just... in the grand scheme of things, it's like a blip. But it is interesting.
Like, I just got a new Dyson vacuum cleaner. Far more interesting. But let's do this interview.
Okay. So first question. I don't know if I should say this person's name. I think we'll keep her out of it. She says, do the girls know that you were on The Real World, and will you let them watch it in the future?
Well, I did a really great job of not letting them know that I was on TV, but then they got school age. And they started going to play dates at other people's houses. And it sort of just came out. Mom, were you? One of my kids, if Shalom came home and was like, Mom, were you on TV? I was like, no. Beck. She's like, were you on there? I was like, no. Oh, because my friend Googled you. I was like, your friend did what?
What?
Yeah, so Shalom didn't find out directly from me. I had always told her that I was in the entertainment industry, and I never said the show. I never said it was Googleable. I would have never done that. She didn't know my last name was Howard. So, like,
yeah,
how's she going to look me up? But, it is out there. And also, like, there would be times that we'd be at Target or wherever else. And you can't you spend your whole life telling your kids don't talk to strangers, and then random people are coming up to me being like, excuse me, I hate to bother, but are you Melissa? And then, like, I would have to explain to Shalom. They'd be like, Mom, why does that lady know you? I'd be like, girl, I met her at Starbucks. Are you Melissa from? And I would look at the person, ask me if I'm me, and like look at my kid and be like, no. yes, but no. So they do know. They have never seen a clip. That will never happen. Not on my watch. No, they're not going to be. No, absolutely not. It's going to happen. One day they're going to get to Googling, and it's going to happen, and I'll have to. But I didn't do anything on there. I wasn't on there like sucking a bunch of dicks, so it's not like crazy, but it is something I'm going to have to explain because, my kids watch a lot of YouTube. I'm sure your kids do too. Uh-huh. And like getting famous on YouTube is an aspiration these days. Like if you poll 100 kids, 50 of them are going to be like, I want to be a YouTuber.
Oh my God.
And then you have to explain to them that fame is not the only way to success. And then what do I look like saying that to my kid? And I'm like, bitch, I wanted to get out of Irico, so I went on this reality show right quick. So no, my kids don't really know about it. They know of it. They're kind of familiar that something's going on, but they've never seen it. And if it's up to me, they won't.
Yeah. Do you still keep in touch with any of the people from your season?
No, not really, but not like in a malicious or bad way. I think the show is sort of like designed for you to, you build relationships while you're there. You build them sort of afterwards when you're all dealing with sort of the aftermath of that thing. But like, I came away with, some good friends from that shit. But like, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't talk to motherfuckers I met last year. So, no, but like every now and again, we'll find each other on Instagram or whatever, and it'll be like, hey, how are you? And I talked to Jamie on Instagram for like 2 seconds because I did an interview with Susie Meister, who is like really good at parlaying and doing all these things. She's amazing. So I did an interview with Susie, who then was like, oh, I'm going to do an interview with this person. Oh, you guys should chat. And so we've caught up and we talked, but like, we don't know each other's phone numbers and shit, which is fine. But I am friends with Irulan from Vegas, which is also very strange because I bumped into her at Trader Joe's and she was like fondling the onions or something, and I was like looking at the apples, and I was like so confused because I was like, there can only be one brown girl that's on the show at a time. Why we're both here in this Trader Joe's is very strange. That can't be her. I turned around and kept minding my business, and then she started looking at me, and I was like, what the fuck is this lady looking at me for? And then we just sort of like the store sort of just, it was like the store was very busy and crazy, but the store itself sort of melted away to the sides like in a movie, and then we just, like a magnet, started gliding towards each other, and then we were like slow hugging with our eyes closed for like 5 minutes in the produce department. People's carts are banging into us, and it was just like, hi, how are you? I was like, hi, how are you? And I was like, how have we never met in person? She was like, I don't fucking know, we know all the same people. And I was like, what are you doing here? She was like, I'm shopping, I never come on this day. I was like, I'm shopping, I never come on this day. And I was like, do you have kids? Yes, because same age as mine. Do you have a husband? Yes. Oh my god, is he a Jew? Yes. Okay.
We be best friends.
And so it was just like, when are you coming over tomorrow? And we connected, and our kids hang out, and we had for a little while there until life got busy, but you know, we had a standing play date. So like, there are connections that you make, and like, I've been to her house, I've come to her friends' givings, and Arissa's been there. So like, there is some overlap in the real world worlds. But other than that, I'm over here really just trying to live my life and keep it moving. I listen to Heather B every week on Sirius XM. She's my favorite. You know, there's some overlap, but no, not really like I don't like go to like the Saddle Ranch and hang out with people that have been on Real World, you know.
Well, you mentioned Jamie. One question did come through. Did you hook up with Jamie on the season?
I really did not. And I wish I could tell you who did. I did. I know a couple motherfuckers who did.
You finished the Real World. You're living in California, you're in West Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
And so Girls Behaving Badly, was that the next step?
Well, what had happened was I started, I got an agent at William Morris, who at the time was also representing Monique, who went on to do much greater things than I did. Pretty much everybody I worked with went on to do much greater things than I did. Cool social anxiety. Thank you, PTSD. Now,
Now, did you have social anxiety before you went on the Real World, or did you have it after as a result?
Before I went on the Real World, I was I was not self-aware at all. I was a complete self-involved, extroverted, insane person because I thought I should be on the Real World. Mm-hmm. Then I got really fucking famous and was like, yo, what the fuck? Everybody's in my face. This is I hate this. But at the same time, it was one of those things where here's this amazing opportunity that it's not like, here's this amazing opportunity that could change my life. Here's this amazing opportunity that already did change my life. So let me now see how I could capitalize on it. Mm-hmm. So I got the agent, and then I got a manager, I got a publicist. I was doing all that shit. I was going on auditions. I auditioned for the fucking Yellow Ranger. Could you imagine my residual?
You did not.
Sure did. Yeah, and there was another one I got really close on, and they picked a different girl. There was a Sears commercial I got really close on. There were so many things I was like next in line to do it, and then I didn't. And at the time, I was going on auditions for like brown girls, so it would be like me and fucking Lauren, Nipsey Hussle's wife, beautiful in real life. Me and her were on the same audition for a McDonald's commercial where we had to fake eat a burger. Like, so at the time I was like really trying to do this shit. So I had an agent, and then I was doing groundlings. I was doing improv school, and then I started doing stand-up. I did stand-up for like 6 whole months of my life until my stomach fell out of my butthole. That was like nerve-wracking. And I had a good run with it, and I had a good time with it. And then one day I was just like, I can't do it anymore. So after I did the Real World, I did a challenge in like 2004 3 maybe, I did Battle of the Sexes. So it was the first one where they did boys against girls. I did that challenge in Jamaica, and I was stoned the entire time and not hanging out and not having conversations. So the girls literally forgot to vote me off. So I made it all the way to the end. I won a car and everything. I was like, shit. It was like me, Goofy. They just forgot to vote me off. I got there. I won the first mission or something, so I got to vote off the person I hated while I was there. We won't say her name. I said, fuck you, you have to go, because I can't be in Jamaica. If you're here, you're ruining my shit. You got to go. So she sent her ass home. Then I was like, cool, I can kick it now. Y'all can send me home anytime. And they just forgot to. So I did that show. And while I was doing that show, I got the call that I booked Girls Behaving Badly.
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, in reality TV world, it's a very big deal for you to be able to do non-MTV stuff. If you started on MTV, you want to sort of either work with MTV and get that dime like Snooki and them did, or you want to branch out and do your own other shit. So I was doing my own other shit, and I was actually doing something that required like comedic timing and whatever. So it wasn't just Melissa driven. It was like Melissa trying to like hone a craft, which clearly was not that good. No, Girls Behaving Badly ran for a really fucking long time. We had like 5 seasons or something. But then in the middle of it, the show kind of changed course because I was in it was like a prank show with Chelsea Handler, who also went on to become a multimillionaire, and I did not. Wow, it's a theme. No, after a while I was doing the pranks and stuff, and people would, because Real World it's one of those things that's it stays with the person. My voice stays with people, my face stays with people. People, like, when they see me, they're like, I fucking know you from somewhere. So every time we would do these pranks, which costs money to set up, you know, we've got a whole entire crew of people doing these things. You know, I'm supposed to be pretending to be a girl that runs a flower shop and be like, dude, what the fuck? You're on Real World. Why are you at the flower shop? I'd be like, dude, let's fucking pull a prank on you, man. Cool ruining it. So after a while, I got moved to like a more like hosting position on that show. And I found that I really liked hosting. So, you know, it would be me standing in an outfit on the side of the pool going, coming up next on this Prankapalooza, which I was like, listen, if it's the same check and all I got to stand here and read these cards, I'm doing that. So I really liked hosting stuff. So then I started going out for more hosting type shit. And right as that was starting was when I started dating Justin Beck, and he decided that we're not going to do long distance anymore. And I also decided, especially after not getting, I was really close to getting this Taco Bell commercial, which is so stupid. If you think about it, like the shit, if you want to go to LA and you want to do like auditioning shit, you really got to commit to it. And you have to also be very open to rejection. And a motherfucker was not. I was like, wait, y'all motherfuckers just going to keep saying no to me, you mean, every day? Like, every day I'm going to come in here and you're going to be like, you're so great. It's between you and another girl. And then you're just going to keep picking the other fucking girl, because that's not cool. It's a Taco Bell commercial. Do you remember the commercial where the people had to go, you had to raise your hands up and then you went, I'm full. Yeah. Do you remember that commercial? Yeah. That could have been me. And every time I saw that commercial, I was like, yo, I'm going to fucking kill somebody, because that could be me. Yeah. So anyway, my relationship with Justin Beck happened to come around when I was already soul searching, kind of, and being like, do I really even want to do this? And I didn't enjoy having to be Melissa from the Real World in every room I went into. I just wanted to be Melissa from the fucking Valrico. Can you pass that blunt right quick? And it was just, it got to be something to where I just got totally insular and totally shut in, and moving to Long Island was the way to go. And I still, I think I was dating Justin when I did a reality show for Andy Cohen before he became the Andy Cohen of Bravo fame. He had a show on Bravo called Battle of the Network Reality Stars. And I was on that one while I was dating Justin. So I did a few things. Yeah. That one got canceled. I wonder if I'm the common denominator. And that got canceled after 1 season. So I did a few other things, and then I just came here, and then I got into that, you know, sort of grind of trying to have a baby, and then I had the baby, and then after I had the baby, that was when I really found, like, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. Yeah. Which sounds so, like, corny to some people, where it's like, you're just mad because you couldn't hack it and do Hollywood. No, bitch, I think I really want to be a mom.
So you met Justin originally when you signed up with Merch Direct, like way back when. So did you guys just always keep in contact because of the business? How did you guys end up connecting and starting to date?
He had to send me a check on the 1st and 15th of every month. So on the 1st and 15th of every month, I'd be like, motherfucker, you got my money? But we were always friendly, and I think that he would never admit it. But at my wedding, his own friend told me that they were all in a Long Island diner one day, and Real World was on, because this was back when they used to marathon the shit out of it. There was a time for in all of 2000 and 2001 where you couldn't turn, and they used to marathon the season before yours and then marathon yours. So at any given time, it was just Real World all fucking day.
Yeah.
At any given time, it was on, and I remember his friend was like, "No, Melissa, you don't understand. Like, he married his fucking dream girl." He hates when I tell this story because he's like, "That's fucking not even true." I'm like, dude, you were obsessed with me from the day you saw me. Go fuck yourself. He looked at the TV and he's like, "Is that girl Malaysian?" And then he started like trying to figure out who that brown girl on TV was. She's Malaysian, but she's sort of like black. Like, who is this girl? This is what? And then at the time we had a mutual friend and I needed the online store. Mm-hmm. And the mutual friend was like, "Well, he really only does bands, but you could try." And I was like, okay. So I was in New York doing something else, and I had to go to his little tiny storefront in Belmore where he had a fish tank and a stapler and like 2 bands. And I didn't get it because this was at the time. What do you mean you're going to take a credit card over the internet? Is that safe? That sounds crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, and then you're just going to get a check. I was like, but then who's going to, I was just so confused, like how taking a credit card safely over the internet was going to work. I was like, what about money orders? He was like, dude, credit cards. From there, we had kept in touch, and then I was like his number one client for a minute. So he couldn't like hit on me. That'd be completely inappropriate. So I think my sales started to dwindle down in like 2004.
Let me pause you for a second, because I need to share this information. Were you beating, no, nobody's going to know who this fucking is. Were you beating Brand New on merchandise?
Dude.
Just say yes. I'm going to tell my husband yes.
Yes. Listen to me. At one time, I was Merch Direct's number one client, and I broke their server several times during many marathons.
What?
Who the fuck is this? Because they didn't get it either. They're like, who is this girl? I don't understand. And this was I was their first client where they branched out and didn't do music. The only reason why they did music is they were like, well, she is on MTV and maybe she could wear shit on TV. And at the time, I was going to the challenge. They were like, well, you want to wear these shirts? I was like, okay. So like this was before like people were figuring out that we could do that. But yeah, there was times when like I would wake up and I would just be a fucking thousandaire after a couple hours, which was a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
You made $6,000 in your sleep, bitch. That was the shit in 2002. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The sales started to sort of dwindle down, and then he called me, and I was just like, he was like, you still want to do the store? And I was like, we can do it or whatever. We could not. I mean, it's cool. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like done with that aspect. And he was like, okay, so want to fuck? No, he actually really did say that, but I was like, what? And I hung up. And then from there, we started joking and talking differently. And I became his girlfriend, and then I became his wife, and then I became the mother of his children. And now I'm his lifetime personal assistant. So
you guys have 3 daughters, as you said in your introduction. Why don't you talk a little bit about just trying to conceive and the difficulties that you had, and then I think maybe share a little bit about, what it's like life as a mom, raising 3 girls, and what your aim is for, bringing up 3 girls into women in this climate. Yeah,
well, my aim is really at the end of the day is I want my daughters to never feel unsure. And so I'm a super kind of honest, hands-on mom in that sense. But trying to conceive, we'll start there. I was with Justin for so long, and before we got married, there were never any accidents. There were no scares. I was like, yeah, we're really good at this. But then we were like married for about a year and a half, and I had just never gotten pregnant. And I was like, how much fucking do you really have to do? This is crazy. And I started going to see a fertility doctor because I was like, something must be wrong with me. And I was like 32. So I wasn't old.
Yeah.
but they were treating me like I had like advanced maternal age or whatever they called it. And so we did every test under the sun, and they could not figure out why I couldn't get pregnant. They just could not figure it out. So we flushed my tubes. And then after that, I got pregnant. But I mean, it took a really long time to get pregnant with that first one. And because I wanted it so badly, like I was so focused on being a mom, which I think is good. I think the hardship of trying to get pregnant, I spent a lot of time late at night on the internet, you know, and reading about parenting and wanting to talk about parenting. And I was also, keep in mind, the old friend in our group, you know, people were already married and running off, like, and at every wedding, everybody like, when are you guys going to get married? I'd be like, why don't you ask this motherfucker right here? So like by the time I had my kid, everybody had already had their kids, and you know everybody wanted, you know how it is. Everybody has kids already, or nobody has kids. You're either that, there's no in between. And so with me, that was like the way that it was. And trying to conceive was hard. It sucked. So then I finally had the baby. Delivering the baby, really bad. Hated that, but also understood that I wanted to conceive really bad. I wanted to have this kid really bad. So I felt like I couldn't openly complain about those things. Because here I am crying every day. I can't get pregnant. Finally get pregnant. Oh, I hate this shit. What the fuck? and then delivering it. Ooh, that was terrible. I don't know. Why didn't they tell me that was going to happen? And so like my blog at that time was a really good space for me to have an outlet to talk about like the real shit that was happening. And it was stuff that I wasn't seeing other people talking about on the internet, really.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'm going to have my little corner, and I'm going to tell y'all really what's going to happen. You really will shit your pants. Your butthole is not going to be right. That first poop after, honey, good luck. So, yeah, I started with that one. And then after Shalom, I became an expert because she was just such an awesome baby. She was so good. She latched on the first try on the skin to skin. She was breastfeeding. She pooped when she was supposed to poop. She slept when she was supposed to sleep. I slept. Justin and I were like, this is so amazing. We are such good parents. Our kid never cries. Everyone must be incompetent. What the fuck? And we were like really cocky with it. Like we would be out 10 o'clock at night at a restaurant with a baby, not knowing, like, to other people this looks crazy. And we're like, no. She's not going to do anything. She's just going to be here. She's part not understanding. Our child is amazing. And then we had Maja. And all those things changed. And we were like, oh, this is why it's hard. Some babies are assholes. That was a really trying time. I love her. She's a wonderful child now. But the first 18 months, I'm going to give it to you. Listen, she was brutal and had me really thinking about not ever having children again, and I didn't think I could. And so Shira was a happy accident, and so now here I am. I'm a mother of 3 on Long Island, and I'm that lady from Real World. Oh, God. It really is a thing, because the other day actually my phone rang, and it was the receptionist at my kid's school. Mm-hmm. She and I had become friendly. She was like, girl, are you busy? I was like, no. She's like, I overheard your name. I was like, did you? I was like, yeah, they're in that corner talking. She goes, you know, the mom has, and like told me everything. And she was like, somebody told somebody to Google you. So I'm just letting you know. I was like, okay. So I have eyes and ears. So it's a thing that has truly followed me. It's very strange. And then nobody, I'm not saying it like people care. No one gives a fuck. Like,
yeah.
Listen to me. If Nick Lachey was a dad at my school, I would be talking about his ass too. I would be like, yo.
His wife comes into they live in Cincinnati. He's from Cincinnati, so he is.
I die because him and her I love.
So I used to work in this children's boutique in Oakley, which is a nice neighborhood around here, and she would come in, and she's the nicest, most
regular, right? They're both so regular.
So regular.
Yeah, so listen, if I saw Nick Lachey, I would turn around and be like, yo, Google him, you know who that is? So I get it.
Yeah.
They're always both going to be that. Like, they should know that. They know that.
Is it hard having, like, being so recognizable and being, you know, if somebody doesn't, like, pick you out of a crowd immediately and, like, know who you are, but, like, gets that, hey, I feel like I know you. Where are you from? Is it hard socializing with kids?
Oh, God. So I'm going to say that I was at Shalom's school for a good 2 years. Shalom was 4 before she had a play date because I just couldn't, like, I knew that people were like, oh, do you know who that is? That's blah, blah, blah. And like at one point, one of the moms didn't know who I was and was friendly with me. We started like chatting in the parking lot. She liked a shirt that I had on. And it was like a Tribe Called Quest shirt. And it was like a misprint. So I like wear all the stuff that comes out of the factory that didn't make it into a bag and into your home. So like I have a shirt that says Tribe Called Quells. She was like, oh my God, you listen to them? I'm like, yeah. And so I'm trying to zip up the mistake because, I'm the face of my husband's company. I should not be wearing fuck ups out in the world, but I do. We were chatting and we started talking more and more. And then like weeks later, and you know how school works, these parking lot chats where you're friendly, you don't know anything about each other, but your kids go to school together. So there's a rapport, there's a banter that is required of you as a mom so that your children are not seen as social lepers. I remember then, like a couple weeks after these nice parking lot chats, she pulls me aside, was like whispering, I need to talk to you. I was like, okay, what happened? And she was just like, I'm so glad I got to know you, before I found out that, you were, I was like, I was what? She was like, you were on the, I was like, on the what? She's like, you're on the, she whispered it like I had like chlamydia. Real world. I was like, yeah, that's me. So like, there is that weird thing where it's not necessarily that, I'm ashamed or like not cool with it, but like Real World itself has its own set of baggage. Not Real World, the specific individual cast member, which some of them, do have baggage from that. But I mean, the franchise, the entity, the thing. Like if you say I was on the Real World, that's some crazy shit to say out loud. So like it follows me in that sense, but people are also like, I think they understand me and know me. Nobody is like comes up in here like you're not making it into my house and then ask me no bunch of shit about Real World. We're not going to get that far.
Yeah.
So it's not hard in that sense, but it is that first couple of times, and it happens every time. It happens every time. You would think 20 years later that it wouldn't, but it does. It does. And I just have to go, okay. And it's not a bad thing. It's cool. Sometimes, I can vibe with a person and they'll start asking a bunch of questions. And then I'll realize, wow, I have really suppressed all that shit because I don't remember that. Really? Did I say that? Shit was funny? That was funny. Okay. So, yeah, it's one of those things. I imagine it's what, like, I got to think of one. I got to think of a reality person who's so specifically that person, but, like, not out in the world anymore. There's many of us now. It's a thing. My kid goes to school with a kid whose mom was on The Bachelor. Like, you're going to meet a person who was on a reality show.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily going to be Melissa from The Real World. Yeah. It's going to be somebody. We're all having kids.
Yeah.
We're all going places.
Is there a stage that you can say that you prefer over another? Because they're in very, like with Shira, she's 4 and Shalom is 10. So that's you're kind of in 2 different worlds.
Oh yeah, I have 3. I have 3 very specific worlds. Like Shalom she still likes me. We still hang out. We take Hebrew school together every Sunday. Actually, it's very cute. And she doesn't hate me yet. We talk, and she even likes some of my outfits. Like we're in a cool space, me and her. Yeah. But I also don't really. She comes home, she does her homework, she comes out to eat dinner. She's got her own life. She's in her room and she's making bracelets and she's making TikToks and, looking ridiculous by herself, looking at her phone. TikTok is so stupid, but I let her do it. It's fine. But then I have my other 2 little ones, and I think when they're younger, it does require you as a mom to do stuff like out in the world with them. Like they have different kind of, like Shalom, I can drop her off at someone's house if I trust that person, and it's been a long vetting process, but really I like them to come over here because I get to control what's happening. But with the babies, you got to go out, and there's birthday parties every fucking weekend, and there's a lot of outside world stuff with little ones. So yeah, I'm loving 10. 6 is cool too because she's starting to get a little bit more independent. Toddler world is crazy. I think with Maja, I did like a mommy and me class.
Mm-hmm.
That I did not do with Shalom because I just was not emotionally prepared for that. She was my first kid, and I was like, oh, God, someone's going to ask me if I was on the real world. With Maja, I did it. No one gave a shit at that point because I was at the school for so long with Shalom. And I just can't, I'm not good at that shit. So older kids I do love. But my favorite stage of motherhood is actually newborn shit. I love a newborn so much. It's terrible how much I love a newborn. Really bad. Don't put a newborn around me because I will be like, Justin Beck, what's up with me? I just love, I hate being pregnant. I do, but I just love a new baby. God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's, you know what I'm talking about? That smell in their neck.
Yes.
That tiny little earlobe that has a fuzz on it. Those tiny, they have cuticles. Like, who are you? You have cuticles? You're a tiny person. I love a newborn baby. I love it. I love breastfeeding a newborn baby. I'm like creepy as fuck and weird about newborns. I do. I want to pick the little flakes off their scalp. I want to smell their weird pee diaper. I love when the poop is yellow. I'm like, yay, we have the poops. We have the yellow poops. We have the seeds. We have the tiny seeds. I'm engorged. My baby's crying somewhere. I just love the science. I love the science of newborn baby. I love it. And if it were up to me and it didn't suck and it wasn't painful and I had Kim Kardashian money, I would impregnate some lady in India with my baby for real. I love a newborn. I do.
I do too. After we had Lennox, we knew we were done, but my sister was still having kids and my sister-in-law's had a baby since then. And just that my girlfriends have had babies and it's like that jealousy of like, oh shit, she gets to do this all over again. And she gets the snuggles and like the milk drunk face. But it cures me when I go to the hospital and I see like the catheter tube and like the pumps on the legs. And I remember like all of that terrible shit that like you have to go through. And I'm like, you know what? I think we're okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, when you're like folding your giant wee pad and putting, like I used to make these Subway sandwich level pads for post-pregnancy. So fold the giant wee pad, then take the Tux medicated pads. And I would sit there and pretend they were like little provolone cheeses. I was like, I'm going to put 6 on here. Put 6 on here and I would just make me a big old sandwich to sit on. And you spray your fucking burning hot pussy down with the what's the stuff, the spray?
I just had a water bottle. Just a little bottle.
Oh no, honey. You needed a you needed a Perry bottle with a tiny bit of rose soap in it and then a half witch hazel and then as hot a water as you could stand it. And while you pee every time, you had to make this concoction. But like while you're peeing, spray your pussy down with it and then sit on the provolone pad. It was the best. Like it was gross, but I like the science of like watching my body shrink back and do the weird things and watching your belly button get into that weird gross phase where it's curling into itself and then exfoliating the inside of your gross belly button. Like there's a lot of weird gross stuff that you do have to go through, but I still really like it. I did love, like that first poop is horrible. And then like right around the 3-week mark when you're real fucking tired.
Yeah.
And you want to kill someone. Mm-hmm. And you start thinking about like, how long would the jail sentence be if I just like, I choked him out, but he didn't die. I'm talking about my husband. So
Nobody tells you how hateful you're going to be of your husband. Nobody.
Because like they could just be over there sleeping blissfully and you'll be like, I'll fucking stab you in your ear right now. You wouldn't even know. You would just wake up screaming with no eardrum. Right now, I could do it. And if I didn't love my eyebrows so much and I wasn't scared about prison, if I knew that you would pull the rug out from under my stay-at-home mom ass and I wouldn't have money for a lawyer, I would stab you in your fucking ear right now. Because you're that tired.
Yes. I don't miss that at all.
Yeah, but I do love that newborn baby smell.
Yes. Oh, yes. I remember somebody had just had a baby and they had him at the same hospital where I was, and they give you the same diapers. And whatever that Pampers is, that smell.
Yes.
I took that box out and I was like,
I do love that smell.
Oh my God.
You know what else I like? You know the diaper where when they pee on it a little bit, the little yellow line turns green?
Uh-huh.
Not when it's soaked. When it's soaked, it's a little gross. But when it's just a little bit of pee, it's a little tiny bit of warm pee with that diaper. You're like, I remember Sarah Jessica Parker gave an interview and she was like, I love the smell of the pee diaper. And like everybody thought she was so crazy and gross. I was like, dude, Me too. So like there are these moments in the world where like some other, like a celebrity will say some wild shit that you thought only yourself, and you love it, and that's pretty cool.
You feel validated.
Yeah, is that the word I'm looking for?
Yes.
Yes. So yeah, there's a lot I love about motherhood. There's a lot I don't love, but there's a lot I love.
What are some things that you're just like, I could do without 100% this? Goodbye.
It's people say, listen, I get it. As a stay-at-home mother, there is a luxury in that. People call it a luxury, you know. Mm-hmm. You don't have to work. Okay, well, this is work. Let's not get crazy. But it's that there's no day off. There's no like, fuck. I'd be like, day 97, you're still here? Shit. Like you could have a migraine, you could have snot coming out of your face, all the holes in your face are clogged or something else is going on, and that baby's still going to need something, and you're still going to have to do it. And like every now and again, I'll get on a tweet rant, and I'll just be like, guys, motherless people or childless people out there, just let me remind you, every morning you have to make a hot breakfast for someone else, and then clean that shit up. I just hope you know that. Like, I understand that. Like, it's a lot. And I do it, and I'm happy to do it. But like sometimes you're tired, and it's hard to say you're tired, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm the primary parent in my relationship, so it's like hard for me to say I'm tired when I see my husband come in. He's dragging in from an 18-hour day. I'm going to say I'm tired. He's tired too. So like, it is hard because a lot of what you do as a mom is, like I say, invisible. And so you feel sort of like forgotten and ignored and misunderstood as to what it is you, quote, do all day. Mm-hmm. So that's annoying. Like I could choke someone for that shit. What'd you do all day? Bitch, a lot. I'm fucking raising 3 people that are hopefully going to benefit your life because they're cool. What the fuck? Shit. Yeah. So I guess I would say it's a really big job, but it's very easy for motherfuckers to make you feel small, and that sucks.
You're just a mom. You're just a stay-at-home mom. What do you do? Oh, you hear that?
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah.
And 3 of them? Oh, that.
I am always, I don't think that 3 kids is a lot of kids. Like, I feel that nowadays it's pretty common. Like, I don't meet many families that have. I feel like when we were growing up, it was 1, but 2 was kind of standard. I feel like 3 these days is standard. Why do people make it seem like you're a Duggar if you have more than 2 kids?
Let me stop you right there. You are a Duggar. I feel like a Duggar. I'm dugging like a motherfucker over here. 3 is a lot, motherfucker. What are you saying?
Somebody make a t-shirt. Justin Beck, make a t-shirt. Dugging like a motherfucker.
I wanted to agree with you, but 3 is a lot. You know what? 3 is a lot when I think 3 is a lot because I have 3 doing different things. So if my 3 got to be in 3 different places, my 3 got to go, this one goes to go. So it's like it's hour to hour for me right now, where I can't wait to get to the point where they're all just getting on that one bus and going to that place. And then I'm here. I don't have that. So like this one goes on over there, and then this one goes up here. Then I got to go upstairs and give this one restaurant to this one. And like, I'm still wiping a butt. Like there's a lot that I have to do all day long, but then I'm also like taking care of my house. So like I have to plan my whole outside life of running this household around their weird little schedule. So she's going to go to boxing at this hour for this 47 minutes. What the fuck are these times? Can you take them for 2 hours? Can you box for 2 hours at least? Like, what is this? And everything's in these weird little small increments. And then don't let your baby go to Jewish school. They got too many holidays, and I converted so I could say that. Jews have a lot of holidays, God damn it. So a lot of my times I'll be like, ooh, yes, I'm going to go get my eyelashes. And they'll be like, oh, today is a special day celebrating a tree. Like, what the fuck? She's on now? So I am in the space where 3 is a lot, but I can see where 3 won't be a lot. There's a light. I'm cruising toward it, and I'm getting there. And soon when the baby's in kindergarten, I'll have to figure out, what is it that I want to do for me? Because right now there is no for me, there's no for you. There's no like, yes, there's a you. You have a life outside. You're like fit. Soon I'm going to have to figure that out.
Yeah, but not without, Lennox is still my my wild card, right? Because the other two get on the bus together, they go to school, they're there, you know, a set number of hours a day. I know that I have that time, and he's always I feel like the youngest just has to be the most flexible, most like.
Oh yeah, and he's at Costco being like, Mom, we don't have Cheerios. Like he's like a little helper. Yeah, that's Shira can be sometimes my helper, but that's if Shira's in a good mood.
Yeah.
You know, like Shira's like when they fall asleep before you got to go get something done.
Oh my God! Or in the car on the way there.
Yeah, you know how much time I spend just in my car while she sleeps, which are great. Car naps are great, but not car naps in the parking lot of Home Depot. I have shit to do. We got to go. So yeah, that's the part of motherhood that's hard. It's just go, and it's the time management. It's a time management thing, and it's a bandwidth thing. So like while all this is also going on, you know, you have to remember that it's your turn to bring 16 tangerines already peeled to the baby's school. It's your turn to fucking pick all the children up this day and take them to here, and then it's car wash day. Like what? I can't. It's a lot to remember.
How do you stay organized?
Am I organized? I mean, iPhone is great. Calendar app is great. I just try to remember all the shit. And then my husband will be like, babe, have you seen my green sweater? And I'll just snap. Think I have time to find your green sweater? Do you understand all the things I've had to remember this week? Your green sweater. Actually, it's in the bathroom behind the rack. Like, I'll know where it is, but I'm mad that you asked me. So yeah, it's listen, I do like being a mom. It's hard to admit that you're tired because everybody wants to feel like they can do it all. If you have Instagram, you want to feel like you can do it all. If you have Instagram, you feel bad that you're tired. Yeah. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, you can't say you're tired because the working shit. And I have so much respect for a working mom. Listen, she has to go to work and deal with adults. Worse, I think. And then come home and cook and put the shit in the laundry, all that. Like, I'm so stressed out even thinking about that. Because when I worked, it was brutal too. There's no level. It's all the same brutal. It's different brutal. Because working and having it, I went back to work after Shalom. So after Shalom, I went back to work at the 3-month mark. So I did my 12-week maternity leave, and then I was pumping at work, which that's a whole nother job. Any moms out there who are pumping at work, God bless you. Shout out to you. Bitch, you are doing that shit. You are a boss, bitch. You're doing that because you got to think about your baby. You got to pull yourself aside. You got to think about the snide remarks. This person over here doesn't understand the breastfeeding thing. Why is she on break? Man, fuck you. I got to feed my baby. Like, there's just a lot going on for the working mom who breastfeeds. And for you, if you breastfeed and you're pumping at work, this is for, thank you. I love you. You're doing that shit. You got it, girl. And also, if you're breastfeeding and you can't pop at work and then you quit breastfeeding, hell yeah to that too. That shit is so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was pumping at work and that sucked and it was hard. I did it. It didn't last long, but it sucked and it was hard. And that drive home, trying to get to your baby, and then you get to the baby and the baby's been with someone else all day, and then you feel bad about that, and then you give the baby a bath, and then you feed the baby, and then the baby goes to bed, and you're like, I didn't even get to see the baby. It's like, it's too stressful. All of it is stressful.
It is.
And then you wonder, like, why are we still having children when all of these facts are here? Because they're so cute.
Love a newborn.
I really do.
Well, I was talking to a friend the other day. She was like, you got to have more than one because you got to like increase your odds that one of them is going to be successful. Like Bennett was telling me yesterday in the car, he's like, Mom, someday I'm going to invent something and I'm going to make a lot of money and I'm going to give you some of that money. And I was like, yes, you do that, Bennett. Yeah. Remember me.
Oh my gosh. Listen, I'm counting on Maja. I mean, between you. Maja's really inventive. She's funny. She's charismatic. She can draw. And she also doesn't take shit. So I feel like she really can be like a boss lady.
Yeah.
And I really, listen, I'm going to manage the shit out of her. I'm also going to be one of those managers where, like, you know, I take 10%, but I'm also kind of pinching on the side over here and I'm charging fees for this. Listen, Kris Jenner, I feel like I could do it with Maja and I could be really rich. So we'll see. You know, you do have to increase your odds of Shira, have you seen my baby?
Yes.
Shira is gorgeous. Gorgeous. Let her learn how to wipe her butt. The world is not ready. Okay?
So what was it like seeing Chelsea Handler rise to fame after Girls Behaving Badly?
The fame part is cool. I was like, girl, go have it. Take it. All that, run with it. Knowing that she's a multi-millionaire. I can't even front. I'm a human girl. I'm a human person. I was like, shit, she's so fucking rich. What the fuck? I'm gonna be honest. And every time I'd be like, Chelsea Handler has a Netflix special. Chelsea Handler's doing this. Chelsea Handler's doing that. And I was like, damn, I wish she didn't hate me. Because she does. And I think it's very interesting. It's story time. One day on set on Girls Behaving Badly, we were doing a prank or whatever, as we did. And she said something that I thought was racist. And racism in the workplace, we don't like that. But back then, this was before, woke was a cool thing for white people to be. So I remember just remarking that I was kind of like a racist. And I remember her not taking it well. She didn't like it. She was like, what the heck? Why would you say that? And then from there, like, she didn't really fuck with me. She didn't really like me that much. I was like, dang, all I said was that shit was racist. Like, damn, I didn't say your mama nasty. I said that shit was racist. And she didn't really fuck with me after that. And I was like, dang, she like hates my guts. She probably literally does not remember it, probably doesn't know who the fuck I am, and that's fine. But like, I just find it very interesting that now she's 10 years later. If I were to tell her that, she'd be like, thank you. I'm ready to listen. I understand. Thank you for informing me and letting me know. I do have white privilege. And I would be like, dude, see, that's all you had to say. That's all I was saying.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. It's wokeness is profitable and good for her.
Well, that's another question. What are your thoughts on her new activism on white privilege?
Listen, I always say this, and when I was talking about race stuff on Real World, this was back when there were message boards and shit, and like a dumbass, I read them. And people hated that I called out racism. People hated that I talked about race. It was one of those things where it was like, you're so obsessed with race, you're the racist. And I was like, no, I'm not so obsessed with race. Race just is. It's the fucking weather. It's all around us. You just don't have to deal with it because you're white. It's not a part of your life because you don't have to see it. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. And it's one of those things where I've always been an observer of this shit. And it's also very interesting to me. I think the conversations about race should be enlightening and should be plentiful and should be sometimes even fun. Yes, sometimes they're going to be uncomfortable. I'm married to a white person. Like, I get it. It's a thing. But at the same time, when I was doing it, it wasn't cool like it is now. It wasn't, I don't know if that sounds right, but like, it wasn't like this thing where it was like,
it wasn't trendy. I feel like it's trendy.
Yeah. And it wasn't like readily acceptable. And like for you to be the downer in the room by bringing it up, like for me, I was like, I'm not trying to be a downer. I was already at that place 10, 20, I've been at that place. Yeah. So like now to see that it's an acceptable conversation that people can handle, that some people can handle, I think it's great. And I think that it's her responsibility, to be honest, as a white woman, as a successful white woman. Other white people that don't yet get it are going to listen to her, and that's great. And as long as she wants to keep opening doors for Black and brown women, and as long as she wants to, put herself on the line like that, because Taylor Swift ain't gonna come out and be like, I'm not MAGA. Taylor Swift's got to protect that dollar. I think that's cool that she's doing that. That's actually one of the more respectable shits that she's done that I think is cool. I wish that we could revisit that conversation that day on set, but listen, it's fine. I actually do think that's really cool because there was a minute there where I was just like, dude, really? But then when I saw the Netflix things, what's the show?
Chelsea Does, or
whatever it is. I think
it's cool. Show?
Listen, if you're a white person and you are even like curious and interested about starting to have deeper and more in-depth conversations about race, I could see how daunting it would be to talk to a Black person and ask a Black person these questions, because Black people are tired of answering that shit, and we don't have to. And some of them are not like open to being teachers, and then motherfuckers get defensive and shit, and then now I'm in a fight with your ass and you ask me the dumb shit, like what the fuck. So I think for Chelsea to be answering those questions and looking into it. And if that means that there's another girl, pumpkin spice latte type, if that means, you know, a 53%er is going to be interested in what Chelsea's talking about, that's great. That is her responsibility. And it's fucking cool as shit that she's doing it and that she has enough confidence and comfort in her place in the world right now and her place in her career, her place in her life, that she's wanting to explore that. I think that's really genuine. Like, I do genuinely fuck with that. I think that's really cool. There's your answer to that.
That was good.
Yeah, she's rich and I'm not. It's fucking awesome.
This has nothing to do with the real world or with Chelsea or girls behaving badly. This woman, I think it's a woman, yes, has asked, do you have any and all advice for a single first and only time mom of a 15-month-old?
Ooh. 15 months?
Yep.
She's getting a big, she's got a walker?
Possibly.
And a baby that might be too big to be in the backpack. Oh, girl, you're in it, honey. Oh, you got to start putting gates on stairs and shit. Listen, I'm going to say this right now. Start getting that baby to eat what you eat, number one. In tiny little morsels so that you can go live your life. If you want to go and have yourself a nice little Greek Mediterranean meal, you don't want to have to pack a little thing of Cheerios and a little thing of pasta and a little thing of this and a little thing. That baby's going to eat some feta cheese tonight, goddammit. So I would start there so that you could have a little life outside of that. Number two, whatever it is, whatever you can find time for. I know it's hard, but go get your eyelashes done. Go get your nails did. Go get a spa pedicure. Have your feet right so that on those days when you got a chipped nail, you're exhausted, you don't have no clean clothes, you're wearing a dirty funky bra because there was no time to put that shit in that little zipper bag and then transfer it to the dryer and lay it flat and this and that. You're going to have one of those things done, eyelashes, nails, or feet. It sounds so stupid, but like when you have so little time for you, the tiniest thing that makes you feel like you are more presentable or cuter, just cuter even, do that. Do it. Even if you're tired, do it. Sit in that nail salon, get those nails done. I know it's annoying. Get a gel. Very thinly done, not a powder. And just have your nails done and have it be your thing. It's your little treat. You do it for yourself. And the rest of your life, listen, I'm sorry to tell you, you got a 15-month-old. This is the gig. You got 4 years until you can sort of really have some time. Till that beautiful child is in kindergarten. You got a little bit of time, but my advice is to have the baby eat what you eat and always make time to do one thing for yourself that you like. So my thing is, I be having my nails and my feet and my eyelashes done. Sorry. And if I don't, I feel gross.
It's amazing how just getting my nails done, like it sounds so dumb. I can look like this. You can see me. We're on Skype, guys. I can look like hot shit. Not like hot shit, but like hot steaming pile of shit. And my nails are done and I'm like, oh, I'm fabulous.
Yeah, you take one shower, you do one body scrub, you put a little bit of the stuff in your eyebrows to make your eyebrows look like you have some, and it's a new day. You're like, whoa, yes, lady.
I put my perfume oil on before bed. I don't know why that makes me feel so good. Matching pajamas.
Girl, I will put on just a hoop earring and be like, bitch, I don't know who you people are fucking with. I'm amazing. Have you met me? Woo, look out, world. So it's little things. It's so hard, though, as a mom. You don't have time. Like, in the morning, you don't have time. You're throwing on sweats. You're out the door. I mean, I've done drop-off so many times in a house dress.
She's a single working mom, so she's got...
Oh, she's got to get out the door.
She's got to look presentable.
Yeah, ooh, that's another thing. Shout out to working moms who have to look cute every day. You know how hard that is? If I had to put my face on every day, if I had to wear Spanx, no, ma'am. Yes. No, I'm too tired for that. Listen, it's a hard road.
How much would MTV have to pay you to participate in a reunion episode?
Listen, I've thought about this number, and I've thought about how I want to work that contract. Here's the thing: I'm gonna need at least $50,000 US. That's just me. No tax, none of that. That's just mine. Okay? Cash. Not traceable. Then, for the record, you're going to pay me whatever the fuck else you pay everybody else. So whoever the stupidest cast member is that agrees to do that dumb shit for $10,000, fine. On paper, that's what we'll do. But then you got to pay for my childcare. Sorry, because I'm not paying for that while I do this. No, you got to do that. You got to pay for my childcare, and it's the childcare that I want. So we ain't skimping on no shit. You got to pay for my childcare. I also want a really healthy per diem because I want a $16 salad. Okay. So, are you counting it yet? So now we're at 60,000. What's the salad per diem? Let's say I want $100 a day to eat. So how many days is the reunion? Is it one day? Are we talking about 6 weeks in a house? What are we talking about? I have a calculator right here.
Just says a reunion.
Oh, just for one day?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they're thinking like Teen Mom gets together and Dr. Drew asks questions. I don't know.
I think you get paid. Listen, I've seen those contracts before. I think you get $750 to show up on those things. And that's just not enough. Yes. Why do you? Yes. Yes. And then they switched the contracts. It used to be that you got a date. You sold your story rights, right? So you show up on a show, you do the series itself. The series itself is $5,000. So after taxes, you walk away with $3,142. I know that sounds specific, but that's kind of what I think I remember. So that's it. And then you are contracted to then promote that show and do all of the subsidiary other shows. So if there's a behind the scenes, if there's you have to go here and do radio, whatever, for that event, you get $750. That's also taxed. So like they changed it. So from the challenges, it used to be you got, whatever amount to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Now they changed it to where you get paid for as long as you last. So that's why they became so cutthroat. So it was like, these people are showing up for $750 a week or whatever the fuck it is, some little raggedy number. So you flew your ass all the way over there and then you got voted off and that's all you got?
No.
And what if that's all you got and on the first episode you shit your pants and then they air that shit ad nauseum? You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. It's got to be a lot way more money. That's why I'm like, look, if you want me to be on your reunion show and we're talking about just an hour of work and the chances are extremely low that I might shit myself on national television, then, maybe 10,000 is cool. But you want me to be out there for 4 weeks and some shit might go down? I'm going to need tens of thousands of dollars to then go back to my regular life and have you motherfuckers every day be like, remember that time you shit yourself? You know what I'm saying? I need money. I need cash to do it. I'm sorry. And I know y'all have it. That's the other thing. MTV has the money. So if MTV wants to call me, and they're ready to negotiate, then let's do this. But if they don't, then I'm not doing no shit for free no more. I already did that one time. No, motherfucker, no.
Yeah. So I know that the girls haven't seen The Real World. Shalom has an inkling that you were on TV. Do the girls know that your parents are famous and beloved by many, especially your dad?
Papa and Nanny? They know, because whenever my parents visit, I do, I basically go live with them on Instagram.
I mean, the last time your dad was in town, I was like living for the dinner table conversation. Oh.
People, I mean, I have so much engagement when I'm like, people don't even like me. It's you guys. So they get it. They're like, are you on Instagram again? I'm like, people love Papa and Annie. We have to be on Instagram. So like my kids completely get it. Also, Shalom is kind of mature for a 10. So like, and my dad's not the kind of grandfather my dad's not having like child appropriate conversations with her. So she's in stitches. She's crying, laughing at how crazy her grandfather is. She gets it completely and she loves it. And also, she gets Shorty completely. My mom, she's still very confused. But I'm like, no, you'll get it. You'll understand soon. Mom, why did Nanny give me a Christmas card? I'm like, honey, I've told her I was Jewish for 8 years. You're just accepted a Christmas card. Take the $25. It's fine. Do you guys have Chanukah? You doing Chanukah? And Shalom will be like, yes, Nanny. So it's, my kids do get it. My kids understand that their grandparents are very special. But I also light the fuck up when my parents are around. Small doses, but I do light up. I'm a different person. It's interesting. I'm a different person when I'm around my parents. And Shalom, her whole brain is like, oh, that's why you're like this. That's your dad. Okay.
What do you want your girls to remember about their childhood when they look back on this time?
Oh my God. Yes. And listen, memories of your childhood are so important because they start to disintegrate as time goes on. So the ones that stand out are usually traumatic. And so I want to create so many awesome little nuggets of memory that they don't remember the one time that they shit their pants and I lost my whole mind at IKEA when I was washing her bare butt in a filthy IKEA sink. You know, she's not going to remember that. I was screaming at her ass in public. She's not going to remember that because she's going to remember all the other amazing things that I did. Because if you think about like where your memories start as who you are today. Like I have very specific, highly specific memories, and all of them are tied to some kind of like internal insecurity, some kind of humiliation, like, wow, who shits their pants at 9 years old? Dang, I was old as fuck. This conversation, the theme here has gotten really off pencil. I'm just saying, the trauma, see how it resonates and stays with you? So I think that I think my kids, I want them to remember that, you know, I was not necessarily their friend, but I was fun. They had a healthy fear of me. They wanted to please me, but they also liked me. They wanted to talk to me. They wanted to tell me things. Every time they come here, they bring me something I like just because they know that that's my love language. I give you something you like. You give me something I like. I think, you know, those are things your kids pick up on and they learn via osmosis. So like, I hope that my kids have an even exchange of warm fuzzies between us, all of us girls. And also, you know, I'm building a little Voltron over here. I don't know if you've noticed, but like when Shalom gets on my shoulders and then Maja gets on Shalom's shoulders and then Shira gets on Maja's shoulders, we Voltron up and we are just the most amazing bully to Justin Beck. And it's my life's work. So if all we have in the world at the end of this is each other talking shit to Justin Beck and making him miserable, but knowing he still loves us unconditionally, then I will have done my work, because they are it's 4 Beck girls here sent specifically to fuck Justin Beck up, but to also love him. So I think that is good. I thought you were going to ask me when your girls are all out of your hair, like where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing? And I was like, oh God, because my answer was going to be not a goddamn thing. I'm going to be chilling. I'm going to be over here chilling. What's Mom doing? I don't know. The door's been closed for so long. Is she masturbating? Who could know? I just can't. The day where I just lay down all day, wow, cannot wait.
Imagine.
No, the day where I just like have a day of beauty. At 9:30, I'm going here, and then I'm going here to get this done, and then I'm going here to get this done, and then I'm going to lay down, and someone's going to do the Pilates to my body. Like, there's going to be a time where I'm going to have all day.
They have that now. They have this thing called M-Sculpt, and they put it on. It's like cool sculpting, but it like builds your muscle, and they put it on,
and
it like flexes your muscles.
Yeah, I know. Have you met me? Because the day that shit came out, I was the first in line for the trial, okay?
Did you really do it?
And then she told me the price, and I was like, bitch, I'll do my own sit-ups.
Yeah.
It was like $8,000 or something, and you got to go. I was like, what? But the stomachs looked good.
Oh, I know.
So, yeah, there's going to be one day where that's going to be me, and if I play my cards right and one of these kids do something, they'll be paying for it.
Yeah. It's the beauty of the numbers.
Oof, I got 3 opportunities here. Or, I mean, think about it this way. What if all 3 of them decide they don't want to go to college? There goes my money. I've been saving it. Mine now. I can't wait for them to come to me and be like, Mom, I want to travel. I want a backpack. Okay, that's fine, because I will pocket this here money right here. Go ahead, girl. Good luck. I don't know how you're going to be backpacking. How are you going to do your part-time job? Oof, good luck. I believe in you. I love you. You have mace? I don't think you should wear those shoes. Oof. Bye. Yeah, go ahead. Don't go to college. Go ahead. Don't go. Go ahead. Enjoy being cut off. Bye. Whew. Thank you so much for having me. Shit, this was nice.
Thank you. That's good.
Yes, I love hearing myself talk, so it's good.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. If you want more Imperfect Strangers content, you can find us at our website, imperfectstrangerspodcast.com. You can find us on Instagram at imperfectstrangers_podcast, on Twitter at imperfstrangers. We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/imperfectstrangerspodcast. We will be back next week with a live. I'm not sure what day it's going to be, but stay tuned into our social media. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram for our upcoming giveaway. We will be launching it on Monday. In the meantime, you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you back here soon. Don't forget, new episodes of this podcast release every Friday at midnight-ish, unless things get busy, and then they just happen on Friday. So be well. We'll see you soon.